routine right now? What's going on?
The routine. It's fairly basic. It's kind of the same old, same old. I'll wake up at 6:30, go to practice by 7:30, probably train till 9:30 or 10. Then I would go to physical therapy till probably around 11:30, eat lunch, and then go to practice at 1 o'clock. From 1 o'clock, probably finish around 3:30, and then go home and rest and recover. It's pretty basic.
Team USA, has it sunk in yet?
And yeah, I think it has. I think it'll like really sink in for when we're like doing opening ceremonies. But I mean, as of right now, like it's surreal, but it kind of feels the same as just preparing for any other meet. So, and that's the way I like to keep it. So I'm waiting until the actual moment, then it'll probably slap me right in the face.
That's right. Like a ton of bricks, right? You're just gonna fall over. Oh my gosh, we're here. Brando, tell our viewers, like, how'd you get into diving? How'd you start diving?
Yeah, so I actually I started my whole journey in gymnastics first. I went to Scats Gymnastics. Sam McCulloch is also from there too, if you guys know who that is. Um, and I did that for about 9 years. And it just was too hard on my body. And I just couldn't fully get into it. And so I tried a summer camp with Debbie McCormick in Long Beach. And I was just instantly enthralled with diving. It was very new, it was different. I didn't know how to wear speedo, so I kind of got shafted there. But
Hey, I'm gonna stop you right there. You didn't know how to wear a speedo. I need more details. What?
no, I didn't know I had to wear one. I just when I was doing the summer camp, I was wearing board shorts. Like I was going to the beach. I had no idea I was gonna I had to put on a speedo. And so my first real day of training, when I committed to just doing diving, Debbie McCormick, my coach, told me I had to wear a speedo, and so they gave me a speedo to wear, and I was not excited about it.
That is so funny. And here you are, you're gonna have a Team USA speedo. So I hope you're okay with that, right?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm used to it now. I feel weird when I'm not wearing a speedo.
You wear a speedo to the beach?
If I haven't been to the beach in a long time because I'm stuck in Indiana, but I honestly would. I would. I'd be that guy.
You'd be that guy. I see it every once in a while, right? Especially with training trips and everything. Everyone just like, I'm just gonna wear my speedo. It's all good.
It's a European thing.
It's a European thing,
It
exactly.
hasn't caught on yet. Give it time.
Obviously, this was an unprecedented year for everyone, especially with the Olympics being moved an extra year later. How were you able to stay so sharp under just such unprecedented conditions?
Yeah, I actually I took the best out of the scenario. I took it as another year of training, which I honestly dearly needed. And so as horrible as COVID was, and taking that large break, and making sure everyone was safe and healthy to come back to the pool. Once we were back, I used that to my full advantage. I got more time to make sure my knees were in a better place. I got to fix a lot of technique. I got to make sure I was more consistent. So yes, it was hard to train and there was a lot of regulations, but I just took the best of the situation and made sure, I could do my job as effectively as possible. So an extra year of training just made me better.
Were you almost able to kind of give your body and your mind just some rest? Because with diving, you're never resting, right? We can never take time off. We're always going, both mentally and physically.
Yeah, I I don't know if I'm just too ADD. I don't like to sit for that long, especially when it's a few months. But I tried to move as much as possible. Yes, it wasn't diving, but I was missing diving. I found myself on a trampoline outside in someone's backyard, just trying to move and train at least a little bit. But I don't know. I was so amped up to go to the Olympic trials and hopefully to the Olympics that I didn't want to break. And so that time down, I used to spend time with my girlfriend's family, which was very nice. But I was also eager, and I felt like I was caged, like a caged bird. I was just waiting to, train and get better. So it was nice for a little break, but once it got past like a month, I was like starting to bite at my fingernails, feeling like I needed to get out. So, yeah, it was bittersweet.
Brando, I want to talk about your family. You have two older siblings who were also college athletes. How have you leaned on them for maybe some advice just throughout your diving career?
Yeah, both of my siblings, my sister and my brother, were collegiate pole vaulters, so they kind of know the heights themselves. But I think they just led by example. I'm far enough away to I was too young to really kind of know what they were doing, but I got to watch and see their motivation and their drive. So I just tried to follow the same path. My parents kind of did the same thing. They're both very athletic people. So I mean, they just kind of instilled that work ethic in all of us. So I just kind of followed suit with the family.
Speaking of your family and just other high accomplished athletes in your family, I'm sure they're very proud of you. What was their reaction when they found out that you made Team USA?
Yeah, they're super excited. They've followed me since day one. Obviously, they're the number one supporters, but to see where I've come, I mean, I tell a lot of people this story, but like I wasn't the greatest diver when I first came in, and it took me a long time to really get on some sort of high performance movement. Just because I mean, I came from gymnastics. I was young, but I think the goal for me when I was younger was just to have fun, and they really loved and liked following that journey of just me enjoying the sport. But once it started ramping up, and I actually did start seeing that I had potential, they really pushed it, and so they've been my rocket fuel. They've been pushing me as far as I could possibly go, and they've helped kind of squeeze out some talent there, and so they were super excited to see that my dream of forever. I think I started watching gymnastics and all these Olympic sports when I was just a little kid, and I joined gymnastics at like 4 or 5 years old. So it's been a dream for a long time, and I think they're just as happy as I was to see me succeed.
And Brando, obviously, you're a great part of a fantastic tradition of phenomenal platform diving at Purdue. What does it mean to you to just kind of sketch your mark in history there?
Yeah, it's definitely an honor. Dave and Steele were just so dominant on platform, and they have themselves left such a great mark, not on just Purdue, but on me. And the things I try to recognize is their character, and not just their diving itself, but how they left a mark as people. So I would just love to follow suit in that same fashion, and try to make my community better. And so anyone that feels like they need help, or they need some guidance, I always welcome that, and I try to help everyone around me like they do.
Speaking of those two, Steele and David, they're pretty good divers, right? They've they're pretty decent, right? Have you leaned on them for advice? What have they said to you, especially heading into Tokyo here in a few weeks?
Yeah, they're incredible people to have behind you. When I first came to Purdue, I started doing synchro with Steele, and he really just jump started my career once I got to Purdue. And we went to a couple of world championship and world cups together, and I was able to learn from him, not just at the pool but in these large competitions. And he was able to guide me through when I first started. And so Steele's been a massive help for me, being able to follow him and watch his work ethic, and his drive is just unbelievable. So I've always been kind of like chasing his tail. Dave came in later into the picture when he came back, and just like seeing how just purely talented he is, and his like just perfect technique. It's something that's quite amazing that you try to mimic as best as you can, but they're both really good to speak to when, I don't know something specific about, how do you feel when you first walk into the village? What are things going to look like? How did you feel when you first were in the prelims? And so I've been talking to both of them and, trying to get advice there. And they've been kind of like easing my process into it. So they're always phenomenal teammates to have behind you.
Just staying with Purdue teammates, but just talking about your success as a diver there, how did winning NCAAs help you heading into trials?
Yeah, it was a good meet to have underneath my belt. It's a lot more intense than the rest of the collegiate meets, but it was kind of like the icing on the cake on my mental state and my rhythm of how I was going to go into trials. And I got to play with certain diving orders and routines on before I would even go up to 10 meter. So I was super lucky because obviously not everyone had the opportunity to compete at NCAAs if they weren't collegiate athletes anymore. So I was lucky enough to have a couple of meets ahead of them, and so I got to have that that mental like advancement, I guess, on being in competition.
That extra edge, right?
Yeah,
That just puts you over, separates you from others.
yeah.
Brando, let's talk about trials. Take me through your emotions when you first got there and also just knowing when you made Team USA.
Yeah. I mean, when I first got there, I just wanted to mimic any other meet. I kept trying to tell myself that, other teammates, this is the same thing. It's the same meet as any other. There's just like a larger title. So, I mean, just kind of ignore that and do what you've always done. Just stay focused with each and every dive. What I liked to tell myself was I was doing a one dive competition 18 times. If I mess up a dive, move on and restart your competition. I don't want to get stuck in the past. Even going into that final competition, I didn't want to think about the prelim or the semi. I didn't care how far ahead I was. I didn't care how behind I was. I was just going to try to do what I could. So if I had to pretend like I was behind, I was going to do that. And so when I made the team, I was super excited, but I also knew my work wasn't done. So as exciting as that was, and all the interviews and getting all of the love from my supporters and stuff like that, I did have to recognize that I would have to get back in the pool and the whole journey would have to start again. So I've got a little bit longer, but I'm excited to keep training and fighting for our team.
Got a lot of bit longer.
Yeah.
I like that mindset, kind of just taking it one dive at a time and resetting no matter what the outcome is, even though at trials, as you know, it's cumulative. They want the most consistent divers, but if you miss one, you can always just get the next one and then get the next one and get the next one. And that way you can totally reset.
Yeah, even when it's not cumulative, I think kind of living in the past is a waste of time, and what happens happens. And so if I miss a dive, I don't want to be freaking out and overthinking, how is this going to affect me, when I could just move on and mentally, refresh myself for the next dive. And so I really tried to focus on the mental game there. And I was trying to think a few steps ahead. So what is the Olympics going to look like? And how am I going to set myself apart there? And so I came into trials going, this is my warm up for the Olympics. And so I was making sure I was doing the right steps as consistently as possible to make sure that happened, and to make sure I had a better warm up for the Olympics themselves.
That's awesome. That's a really good way to look at it, right? Just one thing after the next, preparing you for the next step and the next step. That's a really good way to look at it. Obviously, it suited you well because here we are. Brando, I want to talk about you and Jordan Windle. You guys have been battling it out for years now, and now you're teammates. What is that like?
Yeah, it's exciting. My first ever international meet was with him. And so it's kind of cool to start seeing a full circle kind of happen again. We've been on the international stage together for quite a bit, and it's always fun to have him on a trip. So it's exciting to have someone that you're close to join you, especially when it's the same event and you can really kind of buckle down together and kind of help each other out.
He's a fun guy, right? When he's diving, he's loose. He's always smiling. What is it about him that just makes him a great teammate, makes him a great competitor at the same time?
Yeah, we like to have a lot of fun together. We always kept it lighthearted, and when we were at the hotels, we'd always kind of joke around and keep it as non-serious as possible. And then once we got to the pool, if that's something we needed to do, we would do. But even when we're on 10 meter, we like to joke around and make sure we're both comfortable. So I mean, he's always fun to have, and we've pushed each other for quite a bit, and so we're going to keep doing that in Tokyo. Nothing changes.
When you're on 10 meter and you're that high up, you can't take it too seriously, right? You almost have to have a little bit of fun to just relax.
Yeah, if you're too tight, it just makes it aggressively stressful. So I find myself kind of like singing to myself, humming a little bit just to kind of relax the nerves. And then once you're on the edge of the 10 meter, that's when you kind of like lock in, so you're not stressed out the entire time.
Both you and Jordan are always cool, calm, and collected up there, I have to say.
Yeah, we try our best. Inside the mind, it's not the same, but on the outside, we try to keep it looking that way.
You guys do a good job with that. Brando, I got to ask you, USA Diving's campaign, Champions Forged into Water. Just talk about how diving has impacted your whole life and how you hope to be an ambassador for the sport forever.
Yeah, I mean, diving's really grown me as a person, and I think that's the main goal. That's something Adam, our coach here at Purdue, tries to do a lot. Is he tries to grow every individual as a person, and in turn, that will help you become a better diver. And so, I mean, I've learned so many things. Let that be how to let go of control and not focus on things I can't control. I mean, there's a plethora of things I've learned, and I could speak about it for hours. But in the end, I've grown as a person, and I think that was the end goal for sports in general, is to grow yourself as a person, and so you can benefit not just yourself but your community. And so I will gladly give back to diving in any way, shape, or form. Let that be if some young kids need help and some guidance, would love to do that. I've been trying to do that at Purdue with our incoming freshmen as much as possible. So giving back is definitely something I can't wait to do.
Brando, I know I sound like a broken record, but this is just such a huge accomplishment. What does it mean to you to be representing our country in the Olympic Games in a few weeks?
Yeah, no, I'm excited to show off what everything I've been doing over these past 11 years. And the goal is to make not just myself proud, but our country proud. And I would love to try to follow in the footsteps of David Boudia and all these phenomenal Olympians we've had before me. And so I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to make everyone as proud as I can.
Just a fun question about you. If you're not at the pool and you're not training for the Olympics, where are you? How do you like to spend a day?
I mean, you usually find me at the beach. If I'm not at the beach, I am trying to do anything to be outside of the house. So once I'm done with the Olympics, I'm definitely going on a few backpacking trips. And so maybe you'll find me on a mountain this time.
Good deal. No flips off the mountain, though. You hear me?
No promises. No promises.